this show on the road indeed. So, previously on Khorzaire, you all set out to arrive at the pyramid. This pyramid that had risen to the surface and taunted treasure hunter and seeker alike. Many had gone in, and none, save the very few that you have met, have returned. The Merchant Queen ordered it guarded, and... wait. I'm having a stroke. I just said that. No, I didn't. I'm having a double stroke. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start over. So this pyramid... There's a pyramid and now you're here. Merchant Queen ordered it guarded and warded. In order to put an end to the Curse of Wandering, you have been tasked with a bit of ruins excavation, a skill most traveling Khorzians have at least passing knowledge in, what with them being more common as the years go by, earthquakes yawning open, revealing long-lost treasures, and of course the landmasses and fortresses listing lazily in the sky. Along the way to the pyramid, you enjoyed a bit of the daily life of a traveler of Khorzaire, without so as to guide you safely. All manner of it beset upon you, up to and including a run-in with a dragon seeking to claim Khorzaire as its domain. It was dunked on, just completely owned by by something unknown. But otherwise, you got to enjoy the sights of how life has adapted to being under the watchful gaze of the sun and the presence of wanderers. You arrived at the pyramid to find it well handled by none other than Elena Moonstride, the leader of Zoaz's Moonlight Shepherds group from Tenudo and Makayla's friend. She had asked to be punished for failing a mission and is here, atoning for the deaths of an entire expedition and her cowardice. After some heartening conversation and some victuals in your bellies, you convinced her to drop the ward and let you in to the massive structure.
Whoa.
As the door opens.
The door opens purely from the power of the indomitable human spirit.
Let's see here. And you enter the pyramid. The door is closed behind you. Elena prepared to defeat the undead that you evaded on the trip over here. Makayla lights a torch, revealing that you are in a hallway wrought from dark stone of unknown length, small portions giving off a dull golden glow. What would you like to do?
I love that glow in the dark.
Oh, wow, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like that.
They will probably go straight to a wall and start poking at the glowy.
Okay. The golden lights. Do you need to roll anything here? Probably not. The golden lights appear to be stone decorative designs and shapes. They're striking against the obsidian. There's long lines near the walls, in the middles of them. Sorry, not the middles of them. Like in the middle of the hallway that you're in. There's like angular and boxy designs that are both simple and also intricate. On the walls, sorry, did you say the walls?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, on the walls there's reliefs, also in gold, depicting several larger-than-life figures. As you poke at them, go ahead and make me an investigation check. Nice. These reliefs, what you can see in the torchlight anyway, they appear to be, like, these larger-than-life figures, they appear to be overcoming adversity. You're touching them, they feel, the golden parts anyway, they feel a little different than regular stone. It's like kind of kind of stone, but like with a paint feel on it. That's how that feels. And with that investigation check, as you check out these reliefs, ever present in each of these murals is a figure holding a blazing weapon. There is a faintly glowing script beneath each, and there are many. Let's see. As you take a couple steps forward, you also sink a couple inches as the stone depresses beneath your form, and there is a blinding flash of turquoise that rims the hallway around you, and several glyphs now illuminate on the walls, and those scripts that were glowing in gold, they are now glowing in some kind of like light blue color.
Do they change what their shapes?
Yes.
Interesting. She's gonna step back and see if it undoes it.
Okay. Nothing happens when you step back. But I do need everyone's surface thoughts, please. What is most on your mind at this moment?
Bailey is thinking about decrypting the script and attaching it to what she sees.
Kill me. I guess. Once again, lamenting her lack of night vision or dark vision.
Dark again.
So trying to peer off into the distance.
Surface level thoughts? Pastiche is feeling relief that the waffles finally found a place to settle.
I think Twig would be feeling like a sense of wonder, just like at being in such a place.
I think Chuman is similar, but more for the current design in it for its age.
The area around you, like it's pleasant. Balmy is the correct word. There's no airflow, but it's not like it's stagnant air either. So it's indeed oh, Xalia.
Hello.
You took a couple steps back. Something happens when something does happen when you do this. I apologize for not informing you earlier. You hear a crunch, like a.
Oh.
And you have stepped on something.
What I stepped on?
You stepped on. You look below you and see what you crunched and stepped on. And you find a lot of bones, smashed, dashed apart. You appear to have taken like a couple steps back and crunched apart, like bisected an arm at the elbow.
Okay.
And as you look around with your lovely 22 investigation, there are piles of marrow, bone dust litters the corridor. There's skulls have been crunched in, leg bones, femurs, hips. Nothing higher than your ankle exists in the hallway. You get that because you got a 22. But yeah, there's bones upon bones. On the ground, of course.
Just gonna do some quick detect magics.
Okay.
Oh shit. Cool. New alert.
Yeah, there's your concentration thing.
Yeah.
So let's see. Detect.
So I'm just gonna sort of activate that up and
Cool.
cautiously move forward.
Can you paint me a picture of what your detect magic looks like?
Oh,
Inside the lovely pyramid?
Yeah, sure. So, often it's like, so you know how Makayla's staff at the head of it is like this sort of rough head of a bird. I was thinking like the eyes of that bird, kind of that faint grayish glow, like pale gray glow, and that same glow would appear on Makayla's eyes as well.
Okay, cool. There is quite a bit of magic. There's magic on the walls. Yeah, as you take an action, kind of like guide your staff around, and you can sense the auras. There's quite a bit of magic on the walls, around where these reliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
Reliefs, not reliefs. Different plural. There is a certain magic that seems to be twisting around each of your and your companions' bags. And let's see. There is a moving magical aura.
My bag.
Huh?
My
I want
bag.
their shit.
Yeah, your bag and everyone else's bag as well.
Okay.
It's just
I don't
kind of
really
like
have much in
twisting
terms of
around.
magic.
What?
No, sorry. Never mind. I misunderstood what you're saying. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's this kind of like magical thing just kind of like twisting around your and your companions' bags. And also, of course, on their various accoutrements. And there is a moving presence of magic. Let's see. Figure out where it is. Above you.
I see. Like directly above.
At some time, at some points, it's directly
Okay.
above, yeah. But it is moving. It's like it's like above each of your party members. It's like moving to the side. It's moving out of range of your detect magic, coming back. It's just like a little blip.
Interesting. I mean,
I guess you get to know the school of magic too. There is transmutation on the walls. The twisting magic on you guys' bags is necromancy, and the stuff currently above you is also necromancy.
I see. I mean, my range of detect magic is 30 feet. That's illuminated by the torch as well. So do I see anything? Like when it's... Do I physically see anything, I should say, when it's like within that range?
You do not.
Okay.
The ceiling, however, is 20 feet up.
Oh, okay. I see. So it could be like above us. So 1 foot of stone. Could be in the ceiling. It would just... I mean... I don't think I need to state the obvious, but well, anyways, we should be careful as we move through this. There's obviously presence within this pyramid beyond us.
Xalia is still going wall-pilled.
Mm-hmm.
Still going what? I didn't hear you correctly.
Wall-pilled.
So you're just like on that wall, looking
Yeah.
at it.
Trying to decipher the hieroglyphics, see if you can see what bits refer to what. Or the script. Hieroglyphics is likely inaccurate.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Make a... The now kind of like bluish glowing inscriptions. let's see, are difficult to decipher. It is... What languages do you know?
I think it's Common, Dwarven, Primordial, and Draconic.
Okay. You understand one of them? Just right away. It is in Draconic.
Oh shit.
But the other ones elude you. But I would ask you to make a history check.
Okay.
Okay, there is another one that seems familiar. Your steel trap mind recalls seeing one of these inscriptions before on a previous adventure, and you're not able to read it, but you are able to recall what it said. And these are kind of like declarations of what the relief is depicting. So you see a couple reliefs that, in addition to this prominent figure holding a blazing weapon, you see a couple of them that where they are joined by a draconic figure, very large dragon, and the inscription below that is the Eye of the Moon. And the one you recall from a previous adventure is Sufamir the Giant. You recall this large, even for a giant, large Sufamir, the king of a giant peoples, had the power to see the future.
Okay. Ah, right. Okay.
Each of these reliefs, anyone can look at them, but Xalia gets the most information out of them. Each of these reliefs, again, they appear to be overcoming adversity. Like the figure and the holding the blazing weapon and whoever's accompanying them. It's always action.
They always have the blazing, like a blazing sword, or just a blazing weapon in general.
Blazing weapon in general. It's always sword-like, but it's not always the same shape.
Okay.
Tell me it's some kind of ember blade.
No, couldn't be.
There is a... Let's see. Roll me a D8. One of them in particular catches your eye, and it is a feature where the giant figure Sutramir is looking at just looking at the sculptor, or whoever would have made it, just looking at you basically. And there is a depiction of a very large spider, and there is a hand. Sufamir's hand is on the shoulder of this little knight figure, holding the blazing weapon and holding them back, and there are just twisting and latticed lines that seem to, that you get the sense that it is the web of the spider. And then beneath it, it is the inscription. Let's see, is unfortunately not in the language that you currently know.
Fucked up.
But it is a it says Sufamir, the giant seer. But that's because you recalled it from your previous adventure. There's more to it, but it's not in the script that you recognize.
Right, understood.
I think as Xalia is fiddling with that wall, after hearing Makayla mention the magic in the room, Pastiche is going to just start running a hand along the opposite wall, looking for any sorts of switches or traps.
Okay. Make an investigation, please.
There it is.
Okay, a 15. Yeah, Pastiche, you absolutely just kind of like run your claws along the wall. You run your claws along the reliefs as well. Maybe give the inscription a little trace. What languages do you know?
Common and Draconic.
Okay. You also are able to read the kind of like the nameplate of all the reliefs that feature the dragon, and it says Eye of the Moon. This kind of like stuff like that, just, you know, Eye of the Moon watches over, stuff like that. There's some extra inscriptions beneath the reliefs as well, but you're focused on looking for devices and things that will spring upon your party and kill you all. You do find one. It is a pressure plate similar to the one Xalia stepped on. And it is in line with it, except on this side. You take like a tentative step forward, and you feel it depress, but you halt with your training. You halt your body, and
No fucking way. That's illegal.
and prevent yourself from moving the rest of your weight onto that foot, and you just barely succeed in not tripping it. But you are now in a precarious position of a half-depressed pressure plate.
Well, let's go ahead and step off of that.
Okay.
Seems there are a number of traps around here.
Not unexpected.
If anything, this is what we should be expecting.
Yes, I mean, while we're here, Makayla would obviously be looking around and seeing the inscriptions on the wall. And anything else? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, are they in Dwarvish, Elvish, Goblin, or Orc?
Let's see.
Anything in any of those languages?
There is.
Oh,
But I need an investigation check from you.
okay.
While that's happening, I think Chuman's gonna try to take a look at the pressure plate, just to see if it's easily recognizable from afar, or I guess like compared to everything else in the area.
I understand what you're saying, except for the compared to everything else part.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my brain is in like two places at once.
Are you saying, like, is it like a different color, or is it raised?
Would it be easier to recognize as a trap compared to just a regular like stone tablet or stone square?
Okay, I think I understand what you're doing. Roll me an investigation for that. Little trap check.
Okay.
Can I help?
Yes, you can.
Cool.
Chuman, roll it with
My
advantage. Shoutouts to advantage. As Pastiche and Chuman both get down among the bones, kind of like sweep away like a work area, and just move this marrow and bone dust out of the way. Chuman, you get down and just kind of like take like a little knife, or like a. Or the unique dagger that you have, the unique sorry, not dagger, the unique paring knife that you have. It's just the first thing that comes to your hand as you go in and reach in your pockets, and just kind of like slide the tip around the pressure plate to see if it's something that can come out, or like see if you can like lever it open. This unique little paring knife that has like depiction of a large bird being choked by a dual entwined snake. It's pretty gruesome, but it's cool. A 10. It seems like it is made out of similar material as the rest of the hallway. It's not easily discernible that it is a trap, it's not easily discernible that it is a pressure plate. Like it doesn't start raised; it only depresses. So like as one would step on it, it creates a point lower in the floor rather than starting raised and becoming flush with the floor.
Okay.
But that's kind of all you get out of it. Not sure what it's tied to, not sure what it actually does, but you ascertain kind of how it works and what it does if someone steps on it, or like how the actual mechanism behaves.
Okay.
Makayla, as you soccer kick a skull. No, I'm kidding.
Why don't you soccer kick a skull? Are you a coward?
That's not Makayla's persuasion, probably. So Makayla, as you
poke it away, there's thing. Go swing.
As you kind of like tap a skull all the way to allow you to get closer, you are able to read some Elven script. It is glowing faintly blue in the hallway, and the script reads. It gives a name to the relief. It's kind of like a nameplate. It says it names a figure just Cross, and it gives them a title of the Cross whose arrows never miss. And featured is a kind of like a lanky figure. They have this. Obviously, they have this longbow that is obviously the victim of artistic expression. It's way too big for them. It's like it's ridiculously big. But the relief that you spy is let's see here. What's Cross doing? The relief that you are picturing is them firing. They have loosed an arrow. It's them and the little knightly figure with the blazing weapon. They have loosed an arrow and have tethered a mighty troll-looking creature to the ground with blazing chains. And let's see, Elvish. So yeah, below that you see script, and it's kind of like an explanation of the scene there. And it's actually like a whole thing. It appears like it's trying to tell a legend where a mighty troll that held secrets to rejuvenation. They were trying to destroy the troll, but it was able to take blows as long as one piece of him remained. Like even something as small as a fingernail, it could reform as long as he could flee. So they. The archer invoked smoldering shackles to burn the troll and halt his eerie regeneration, and fettered to the ground, he could no longer escape, and the knight was able to dispatch it with a radiant blow.
Cool.
You also step on a pressure plate.
No fucking way. Not the pressure plates.
And I need a wisdom saving throw from everyone with disadvantage except for Chuman, who rolls a normal.
Oops, these are disadvantage. Let's roll again.
Well,
Oh, unlucky.
Let's see. Highest is 17? Okay. Everyone.
Yeah.
I need your emotional state, the why behind your thoughts, and I need the idea that takes up the largest space in your mind. You can DM it to me if you want to keep it secret out of character, but that's what I need.
I mean, I guess Makayla would be just thinking of the story she just read, like the tale that was the inscription was saying. That's why she like mindlessly would have stepped forward onto that plate. She was just like too engrossed on that and wasn't paying enough attention to the surrounding. And yeah. So what else did he say you needed?
I need the idea that takes up the largest space in your mind.
That would account for me.
like currently or in general?
In general, like at the core of your being.
Oh. Well, that's a different question. Okay.
As this happens, there's another bright flash of glyphs on the walls. They just flash everybody with turquoise light, and there's like a camera recharging sound, like a tring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think now that they finally have something resembling a lead, Pastiche is pretty Vera-minded.
Lions on the brain.
So Xalia's current emotional state is completely unfazed curiosity and is largely just she's thinking about what made it go blue, how to undo it, what does the blue mean, so on and so forth. She might be poking at she might be just trying to take apart the trapdoor, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
As for the idea at the core of her being, like what takes up the most
Let's see. I think for
Hard
Chuman.
one.
Go for it.
No, it's fine.
I think for Chuman, the current emotional state is relatively calm, but also just suspicious of the area. Just for reasons, because he's already been in cave dwelling. At the core, well, he was also occupied with the pressure plate. So I think, like, during the time frame of all this happening, that was on his mind. But at the very core, I think actually it would be the flashback that, or at least like the premonition that he was given before we came to this temple.
From the talisman?
Yeah.
Oh, the weight of it all. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a better answer than what I said. So I think, generally speaking, Kayla's sort of emotional state would be this very intense sort of determinism, to prove her friend wrong, to survive, to get through this pyramid and find a way to Cyril. Now that she has like a real path before her. And yeah, like that kind of intense drive is kind of just all that is at her core of her being right now.
I think Twig would be feeling mostly determination, like Makayla, but also mixed with a bit of dread. Determined to make it further in the pyramid and find out what's going on, but dread from the armored pursuer that, like, who knows when it's gonna show up again. And I think, like, the overall, like, idea of what he's after is finding out how that slab could relate to the Curse of Wandering, if maybe it's linked to curing it, or finding out more about it.
Let's see, that's everyone. Okay. You do acknowledge, or you feel that your mind has been pinged for query. Like you just kind of like feel like a little knock or tap on your head, or like inside your head.
Mm.
You can hear
I
some-
hold on. Oh, go ahead.
You can hear some like gears clicking and clacking. It's a faint sound, muffled. I think only Makayla, who has the highest passive perception, hears it.
Mm. I sort of hold on, which one is it? Yeah, sort of magically kind of remember my the marble orb of shielding for the if it's like psychic kind of feelings, because we've interacted with psychics before, right? The
Yeah,
that guy in
Sang.
yeah, saying. Yeah, so, feels that kind of familiar, somewhat familiar sensation. It's been a while, but it's pretty distinct. And kind of just tries to keep her mind kind of clear and not, like, be too much in her own head about anything.
Okay.
Just trying to act. Just keep walking.
Thank you. Continue.
Twig will motion to the rest of the group and say, we probably shouldn't dally too long.
Mhm.
Who knows what could be coming after us? And he'll start following Makayla, like, retracing the steps that she took to try to avoid pressure plates.
Chuman's gonna kind of grumble to, like, under his breath. It's, damn, this pressure plate. Can't even tell that it's actually one. And then he stands up and walks over to everyone else and also speaks. The pressure plates are indiscernible. It will be difficult to avoid all of them.
Perhaps it would be best if I took the lead. I can't say I'll avoid every trap, but these things don't tend to take me by surprise.
Why are you eating the floor?
Yeah,
Failure.
Makayla would nod sagely at that suggestion.
Twig turns to see if
That's
Pastiche is eating the floor.
Eater boss.
I was simply observing.
Looking for pressure plates. I see.
Of course.
If you're sure, lead the way.
Pastiche is going to step past Makayla and start walking at a brisk pace, tapping their brush on the ground every few steps.
Okay. I think
Everyone follow the leader.
fat people walk in single file to hide their numbers. I think this is an appropriate point for this to happen. Pastiche, you feel as you move past everyone and take the lead, you feel a presence near you stirring. And in your mind's eye, you see in your mind's eye, you see a muffled inquiry of courage.
Can I turn the other way? With my mind's eye?
Like, away from it?
Uh-huh.
Sure. Make a... let's see. Maybe some kind of, like, exerting your... Roll either charisma or intelligence. Just straight. It'll be a check.
Turn the other mind's cheek.
Rotate your mouse.
Oh no!
I see. So
Good job, Pastiche.
Alright, well, let me look up a note. Something happened.
Okay.
No way.
Let's see. I wasn't expecting a 1.
Surprise.
This is where you guys start telling the story. Shoot, what's a word? Me need to index this server. Alright, I'll make it up. You try to turn away, and you do, but there, in your vision, taking up full view, is just another, like this presence addressing you. You can feel it stirring, kind of like coalescing around you, and it is like it's speaking to your mind directly. Like, just, it's not even really speaking. It's just like this feeling that you see, and it calls out to you, just nameless soul, heed my call. Grasp this hilt, if thou hast the courage, and turn thy gaze ahead.
Pastiche is going to freeze and turn to the rest of the party. Did you all hear that?
Did we?
I'm assuming no.
The rest...
Xalia's gonna cock head.
No.
Heard nothing, my friend.
My imagination, I'm sure. Let's just carry on.
I wouldn't be so sure of hearing things being imagination right now.
Pastiche has already continued walking forward.
What did you hear? Calls after.
I think because you got a -1, you actually don't hear Makayla, Pastiche.
Okay, yeah, that checks out.
And instead you hear, carve thou a path toward thine own morrow.
I think Pastiche isn't going to say anything, but their pace increases noticeably.
Okay. Pastiche increases their speed, hurrying through this gold-etched floor. Let's see. You notice a movement. Actually, no, you don't, because it's dark. You do notice some movement. Like, you all now hear, like, clicking of gears and, like, whizzes and whirs. Pastiche, ahead of you, you see, like, you see some of the gold lights obscure for a moment, and you hear, like, a crash, just of metal.
Well, we can all hear that, right?
Yeah, all of you hear, like, just something, like, clanging to the stone floor.
Is it from ahead of us or behind
It's
us?
from ahead of you.
Okay.
Pastiche is going to continue forward, but they'll slow their pace again, close their eyes, and see through Mitch's eyes.
Okay. Does Mitch have dark vision?
Yeah.
Yo, let's go! Okay.
Let's go.
Let's see. Where is Mitch? Are you sending Mitch ahead, or is Mitch just like just hanging out with you?
Mitch is just riding Pastiche's shoulder.
How far away? Let's see. Is it 60 feet of dark vision? Surely, right? It's now.
It's 120 feet.
Really? Dang, Owl's got scopes.
Mitch?
Alright, through the keen vision of an owl, the light kind of like reflects off of the mechanisms, the gooey organic bits that allows it to see in the dark with only low lighting, with barely any light, with only the torchlight and like this golden and blue glows around. Mitch, and by association, Pastiche, you see what has flopped to the ground. It is a curious sight. It's like kind of like flopping around, making this great noise. It's trying to get situated and right itself. It is a small creature. It's dark. Have Mitch roll me perception.
Sure.
I think he has advantage, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Whatever the elf is.
Keen hearing and sight.
Okay, cool advantage.
Totally.
Well, the 18 was the first one anyway. Yeah, with a 21, definitely. You can see intricate detail. Mitch can see, and by you can see, has intricate details. It has gears and mechanisms that are plain to see. It kind of has a set of wings that's flopping about, and it has a set of talons, and it has a long craning neck that ends in kind of like a wedged mouth. It has a couple jewels on its forehead and on its nose. It appears to be a toy dragon made of bronze.
Huh.
Yeah, it checks out.
Yeah, checks out.
Twig looks a little shaken, and he's like drawing his bow, and he asks Pastiche, "Is it that thing again?"
I don't believe so. Out of character, would I recognize this as a toy or simply a machine?
Pastiche is probably not toy. Like, it's probably not affiliated with toys, so you would probably recognize it as a machine.
Okay. That's what I was
You think Pastiche has no whimsy?
Pastiche,
Pastiche has whimsy.
Yeah, Pastiche has whimsy, alright.
Just mostly
But
involved
no toys.
stealing things.
No toys. Hard life.
It's hard left being a toyless existence.
The Pastiche backstory goes deep. You see this machine dragon. It appears to be, like, you identify that it has bronze plating. 21's pretty good, and Pastiche, you're smart.
Yeah.
It finally rights itself and kind of like stands. It tests its mechanical wings and like turns towards your party. Looks like it kind of like does the neck wiggle and readies itself to readies itself.
It's some sort of small dragon. It's clearly mechanical, but I don't recognize this thing.
Huh?
A dragon.
Xalia's gonna give herself a dragon head briefly.
Considering where we at, we should at least ready ourselves.
Of course. And there's no other. This is a one-way hallway.
Wait, how small are we talking here? A small dragon
He's
can
going
still be
to-
pretty big.
Take another glance.
Is it a large dragon the size of small dragon? A small dragon the size of large dragon.
Pastiche, it probably comes up to your knee.
Smaller than I am.
Oh. Okay.
Where did it come
It's
from?
straight ahead. I don't know where it came from exactly. It sounded like it fell.
Okay.
It's possible that it could have been triggered.
Well, let's give it a hello, shall we?
The only way to go anyway?
Certainly. Pastiche is going to continue forward.
Let's see.
I think it's blessing and all that. Just to,
Makayla,
ready.
just wave your hand over your staff and just in case. Let's see.
Stock some magic stones. Let's get it all ready to go.
Pastiche, do you take your consciousness, or do you take your senses out of Mitch?
Nope.
Okay. You see it kind of like look at the ground and then shake its head, and then it jumps into the ground and leaves.
Oh.
Hmm?
Pastiche will stop.
Yeah, and all of you hear like a swiss noise.
Did you hear that?
Yes. What was
That
it this
one
time?
I did.
The dragon, it's gone. It jumped into the floor.
Isn't it burrowed? Or...
Pastiche is going to take a closer look, see if there are any signs of burrowing.
Make a perception check. Or investigation. Perception if you're using Mitch, investigation if you're using
Yeah.
yourself.
Considering these floors?
Dang, a natural 20!
Maybe I
Alright,
stepped on a very deep pressure plate.
what's the total? 23?
Uh-huh.
Alright. A natural 20 on top of to make a 23 gets you the cool information of no.
No, there's no signs of burrowing, no displaced tiles. It's just gone.
It is perfect and
See.
pristine. It's like there was nothing there and nothing happened.
Disconcerting?
Do you suppose it's invisible?
Well, I suppose it could be, but I could swear I saw it into the ground.
Hmm.
Well, keep your eyes on the ground then, I suppose.
You said it had bronze around it, right?
Bronze plating, yes.
Hmm.
You guys hear a click, clack, like gears turning.
Does it sound like it's coming from where the dragon was, or...?
We'll keep your 23. No, it does not.
Okay.
Chuman's gonna look on the ground real quick. Does it have anything similar to bronze plating?
You said you're gonna look at the
Like the
ground,
tiles? Yeah.
and you're looking for bronze plating. Make a perception check. That's pretty
20.
good. No, the the ground is made out of this kind of like dark, purplish stone. You identify it as obsidian. The gear noise appears to be coming from above you.
Was that just to me, or was that to...
To you and Pastiche by way of Mitch.
Okay. I doubt this has went through the ground. If it has not burrowed, then it's sounds as if it's coming above us.
Well, nothing we can do about it from here, eh?
We continue.
Wait, it's on the ceiling?
That's where the sound's coming from.
Xalia's spider climbing up.
Okay.
Then Chuman's gonna look up. He's just following the sound.
Okay. You climb. Xalia, you spider climb, and you gain the necessary magic to stick to walls and ceilings and many other surfaces. And you start ascending the wall, clambering over another relief that is new and depicts new information. Right next to you, as you do this, you hear another zzz noise, and part of the wall spins and forms a hole. And right next to you, we'll put you right here. And right next to you, pops out a dragon head.
Oh,
It greets you. Salutations.
He pets it.
One moment. I have to make a proper entrance. And then it dips its head back out. The wall spins again. And it's gone.
Alright, she's gonna continue back to where the noise was.
Okay. You don't need to roll for this one. With your perception, you're able to detect that the clicks and clacks of gears as it goes up the side and then back to the ceiling. You're following it, so you're kind of like around here.
Okay.
And then there's another zzz. And let's see here. The dragon just kind of like flops out. The dragon rolls acrobatics.
No way.
And sticks the landing.
nice.
The dragon like kind of somersaults or tumbles out of the porthole wall or porthole in the wall and just tumbles down, sticks the landing, spreads its wings wide, and turns around to face you. Salutations.
There you are.
Okay, dude. Yes, okay, lab is fine.
Hello.
You may call me Portcullis. I will serve as your gatekeeper and accompany you as host. Are there any preliminary questions?
Hi, baby.
Host,
Yes, you're...
You will address me as Portcullis, not baby.
host to what exactly? Where?
Yourselves.
I meant for what is this place? This pyramid?
This pyramid is a lot of things. It serves many purposes, but we like to call it Wencelis's pyramid, as it is built in homage to him and the goal that we seek to achieve.
And what is this goal exactly?
To retrieve Phoenix, of course.
I see.
And this we you speak of?
Correct. I use that word.
Who? That refers to who? Beyond you, exactly.
We refers to a group of people that function together, and just goes on and just gives you the definition of the word we.
It's not. Eh? Well. We are looking for imagine a some sort of large torch or bit of fire that needs to be lit? Is there one like that here?
Ah, indeed, it is upstairs. I am happy to show you, if there are no more questions.
While we have your company, we've come across a few pressure plates here. Are they dangerous?
No.
What do they do?
They are mechanisms that allow me to scan you and know who I am dealing with and whether you yourself are dangerous. You
Say they make the noise from the ceiling.
It kind of like it moves and its body shudders, and you hear like clicking of gears. What's your passive insight?
What is my passive insight?
Is
Should
passive
be pretty high.
17.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. That's wisdom. It's 11.
Its body language. Makayla then. 17's pretty good. Its body language appears to be like cackling. It seems to be unable to produce laughing sounds, so instead it clicks gears and it thinks that what it just said was funny.
No way.
Well, since you believe we pose no threat, then
What do you consider as a threat?
The small little dragon, like it legit is small. It's like this miniature thing. It cranes its neck. It's like its neck is kind of long. It's like maybe the size of its waist. It cranes its neck toward you, Chuman, and it looks over you. It looks over to you and answers your question. I consider. Actually, sorry. It does not make this long pause. It just immediately answers you. I consider Phoenix a threat.
So the phoenix that you are seeking to capture?
That is correct.
But the Phoenix hasn't existed for some hundreds of years now.
That is why it is a threat.
People believe that the Phoenix is no more. Is there reason to believe it truly will return?
Your question does not compute.
Portcullis, how long have you been here?
A long time. It looks up at you. Shall I calculate the amount of time, the duration?
If you can do so swiftly.
I have calculating. You can hear like some whirs of like a computer taking off.
Click, click, click.
Yeah, click, 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 click. I have been in existence 710 years and 4 months and 12 weeks.
Oh,
and
oh well, you're not that much older than me.
2 days and 9 hours. And
Though I do suppose I would have gone insane sitting around in this place for that long.
50 minutes.
Well,
22, 23, 24, 25, 26
Well, about that,
seconds.
torch that needs lighting. I believe if you could show us the way, if you're willing.
Certainly. It turns around
Nice.
and starts like
Harmless.
it
Just
turns around and just kind of like hops and flaps and like wobbles its way down the down the hallway. You pass more reliefs and everything, more depictions of events. While it is waddling, it mentions as you traverse down this hallway. This hallway is very long. Like you're walking for like 5 minutes alongside this tiny little dragon. 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes, and just at the point that you begin to question how this long of a walk could exist within the dimensions of the pyramid, the portcullis mentions administrator is busy, therefore I will also administer your trials in his stead. It continues, just you should prepare.
Is administrator here in
Trials?
this building?
That information is classified and hidden in another chest.
So then these bones that we saw at the entrance, were they under trials as well?
They are unworthy.
I see. Believe we have faced and overcome trials of this administrator before. By
How many trials?
I'm glad you asked. And it kind of like falls forward and then dips into the ground. And then to kind of give you guys the relative of how long this hallway is, I'm going to put you back at the beginning of the map. Or of the virtual table.
Dang.
It's a long hallway. And I didn't feel like making like a 900 tile.
Oh,
Alright, let me just let's just do some quick backwards long jumps.
Yahoo!
No, here,
I want to hear
we're gonna
Makayla
go
woohoo noise.
You just find a depressed tile so I can BLJ.
If Makayla will give me, will give us all like some backward long jump noises, I will give you a +2 to it.
I don't know if I can do that in Makayla's voice.
Alright, offer is gone.
No hesitation.
What happens is, at very far away, you can see portcullis, this tiny little dragon. It flops back into view, and you can see this because as soon as it does, there are 2 torches that illuminate. They are on the opposite side of this thing, and let me get you some torches. Zoop, zoop. Actually, they're kind of like this.
I mean, once portcullis comes back into, I guess, our hallway, Makayla would yell out, or would say to it that we have already bested the Herald. Is that not enough proof for your master?
Okay. Portcullis appears betwixt 2 torches that are illuminating a door and a lever. And a lever on the side, on your left side. The mechanical dragon kind of like flaps and flops clumsily over to the lever. It like lands on it, bites it, and then tumbles off to click it. And then he lands on the ground and looks at you, and there's a click, and the entire tunnel begins rumbling, and then it answers your question flatly, no. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh,
Worth a shot.
Alright. A natural 1 and a 2.
Nice.
Oh, I guess I can't loop the intro like that. Alright, that's fine. Alright.
okay, it's just buffering.
So, the portcullis is... we'll join the initiative, yeah. Oh, he goes first.
Dang, okay.
So, the entire room and hallway, behind you, forward, your current situation, they start, like, there's a rumbling noise and clicking, and there is no time. What immediately happens is the sound of stone grating across.
Wouldn't Chuman win that pie?
This happens at initiative 20.
Oh, okay.
The of stone just grating across stone, just something is for sure happening. So go ahead, Chuman.
Quick question. We just can't see. I'm probably gonna pronounce his name incorrectly. Portcullis?
If you look at the other end of the hallway, he's all the way at the end.
Portcullis is all the way at the other end of the hallway.
Oh, I see him.
Yeah. It's a bit of a walk.
He's in dim light.
It's not that far.
Just casual 200 feet.
Let's see. Dang.
Around you is the quiet glow of the orange and of the gold and the quiet illumination of the blue inscriptions of the relief around you.
And you had said beforehand that there was rumbling all around us?
Yes.
Is there anything moving?
Might be a perception check.
Perception.
And what'd you get?
10.
You look all around just quickly and trying to look up, look down, look to your left. One of these things is moving, either the floor or the ceiling.
All right.
You can just barely see the ceiling like above you because of your dark vision.
Right. Let's see. I think just 2 minutes. Just gonna go ahead and just. Let me make sure. The looking around, did that take a bonus action or anything?
No, I'll give you like a quick look. Normally it would be an action, but no, you can have that for free.
Okay. Actually, I think I'll save that. I think Chuman is just going to go ahead and break into a dash, and also it's gonna yell, "The ceiling, quickly!" And I think that's it.
Okay. Let's see here.
Oh shoot.
I need... Boop, boop. Okay, so what happens next? Upon Chuman's prompt, I need everyone else to please take their turn.
Oh. Okay.
You are now.
I mean-
Well, please take your turn.
I mean, I guess I would dash.
Okay.
Wait, I get 10 more movement.
Hey!
Me being a ranger. Wow. Incredible. And then, yeah, if I don't have it, I would have Ice busing up this bonus action.
Okay.
Oh, that's my turn.
Yeah, the can dash.
Okay. Makayla, make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Ace 21.
Okay, there is a rumbling to your right, and there is like another zzz, noise as a huge square, like this rectangle of rock, slams across your vision, and you quickly duck and like slide on your knees just to barely avoid it.
Hang.
There is now a rock pillar, probably about chest height, right here. It is horizontal. It does not. So like there's space above it and below it.
Wow.
It'd be considered difficult terrain to get past it, I assume.
Absolutely.
Well, that's not very good.
Xalia, you stop right in front of this thing as it crashes to the side of the wall.
Okay. She's on the ceiling.
Oh, you're on the ceiling. Okay.
Yeah.
As if he stopped.
Xalia, there you learned something on the ceiling. You're falling.
Oh no. Oh.
I'm falling.
Why is the ground
As
getting
in
closer?
it's going down, or Xalia is falling off the ceiling?
The ceiling is going down.
Okay.
Twig's gonna double dash over and like vault over the pillar of stone. End up next to Makayla.
Pastiche
Nice.
watches this all happen for a second and says to themselves, this all seems quite trite, before taking one step forward into an inky portal that materializes.
Well, not all of us can teleport, okay? Some of us have to walk like regular people.
Well, actually,
Try, get a move on.
Yeah, cool
Oh.
dimension door, I guess.
It does have a range of 500 feet.
Yeah, they're just gonna step out right behind Portcullis.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
With Mitch in tow.
Alright. Oh, with Mitch. Yeah, because he can bring somebody.
You can bring in Mitch, huh? Understandable.
Yeah. Okay. So you win, but I need a cooler description than that.
Let's see.
As you step through this inky portal and then just teleport on the other side. No, never mind. I got you. You teleport onto the other side. You step out of this canvas that has been washed with deep ink that saps away light. As you step off of the canvas and exit the painting, the inky door falls away and splashes to the ground.
Okay.
You are behind Portcullis, and you see Makayla carrying a torch. You see Twig and Xalia. Sorry, you see Twig and Chuman running very fast, and I think illuminated by the torch. Yeah, Xalia would be illuminated by the torch. She's on the ceiling, plummeting. You see all of your companions running towards you, and Portcullis is just kind of chilling. Oh, it turns around and says salutations.
Pastiche is just going to pat it on the back.
Kind of puffs up. A little proud, like, Alright, cool. Let's see, that's everyone, right? Yeah. What happens next is I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
I like these.
Oh, against Khorzaire.
Everyone makes this dexterity saving throw with disadvantage except for Chuman, who makes it a normal roll. And Pastiche, you don't make it.
Oh, okay.
Pastiche, don't even roll.
Must be nice. Me, who gets 5 extra feet of movement. You, who teleports 500 feet.
Alright, that's good. I'm gonna get rid of that saving throw. Let's see, 13, 15, 13, 7. Okay, okay, so 15 unfortunately is not enough. The ceiling plummets and plummets and plummets, and slams on top of all of you.
Oh.
Howie.
Or the reverse for Xalia, who collides with the floor. The pillar bisecting the hallway horizontally is crumbled into bits. And all of you are, for lack of a better word, pinned by the ceiling, and all of you take 22 bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
As the weight of this ceiling, heavy ceiling of dark obsidian collides into you. You're all holding it up. You're all classified as restrained, as I'm assuming that all of you are doing the thing where you're trying to hold up the ceiling with your arms in this manner. Well, while you're restrained in this manner, let's say that you cannot complete somatic components of spells, and you cannot use your hands unless you specifically take a like a bonus action to let go. But this seems pretty heavy. That happens as this ceiling plummets into you all with a huge earth-shattering noise. All of you, astoundingly, the 4 of you are able to hold it up, defying all odds. There's like a bit of an indentation in the ground as the weight of the ceiling glides into you. Portcullis looks back to you, Pastiche, and asks you, "Please wait a moment, I must explain." And kind of like takes like a couple waddle steps, but Chuman, it's your turn.
Okay. Okay, so let me run that back. I'm restrained. Can't use spells unless it's deliberately as a bonus action.
You are restrained. You can't use your hands, so that means you cannot perform somatic parts of spells.
Okay.
Unless you let go of the ceiling, but you're not. But that, it's up to you whether that's a good idea.
Right. Based off the weight of it, you can't even move. Correct.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to describe here.
Right.
You see Pastiche all the way down there. You see Portcullis, like waddling towards you, and he's like opening his mouth to speak. You see Xalia upside down, holding the floor with her hands. And Twig and Makayla are up there next to you, just all shaking underneath the pressure of an entire pyramid. What would you like to do, Chuman?
Yeah, I don't think Chuman can do anything except for continue holding it.
Okay, so you use your action to just like spend your you spend your action like holding up the ceiling, just exerting all your effort, trying to keep from being crushed. That's good. Make a strength check, please.
Okay. Normal roll, right?
Normal. 13. Okay. Let's see. You take 6 bludgeoning damage. Ouch. And why you take that is answered immediately by Portcullis, who opens his mouth to speak. This clanging of gears and such as we go to Portcullis' turn. Portcullis yells out, not really yells, but like speaks, and like the sound reverberates around the room, and it feels close yet also far away. Portcullis says, "Burdensome, isn't it? The gate is attuned to the experiences of its victims. The weight you feel is your own little world. Your endeavors, your fears, your sorrow, even your hopes and dreams are here to crush you. This is the weight of your soul. Slowly more weight will be added, as life does, until you are crushed under your burdens. It's a long road ahead, and this door, while unlocked, is large enough to admit only one." He kind of like gestures his wing because Pastiche is already there. Insisting on sharing and working together ensures everyone is pounded into dust. A selfish division must be made quickly, but perhaps it's made already. And he looks over at Pastiche. Who among you is worthy? That's why it's called the corridor of conviction, of course. And like the mechanical dragons kind of, its gears kind of click and clack in juxtaposition of laughter. And kind of, Portcullis, seeing that you are already over here, Pastiche, your quick decision has already been made. I see, you've made your point. Are you prepared to shoulder everyone's burdens and carry on?
Well, no, actually, I was thinking I could bring the rest of them along. I like them, you see.
You can see, like, you can see, you can visibly see the gears turning in Portcullis' head. Let's see, before he ends his turn, let's see here. Portcullis will see, let's see. There's no need for them that... okay. So here's what he says to you, Pastiche. He says, there's no need for them now, my friend. You can come with me into the pyramid and learn the secrets of eternal life, and what's his legacy. You can choose to revive them along with the rest of Khorzaire anyway at your journey's end. Besides, what have they ever done for you? He ends his turn.
Alright. Question.
Yes.
How much of the hallway has fallen on top of them? Is it the whole thing?
It is the whole thing.
Okay.
So, like, from your vantage point, yeah, part of the tunnel is collapsed. The rest of the party may take their turn.
Xalia is going to briefly remove one hand from it to polymorph herself into a giant ape.
Cool. Even though you briefly remove it, you still take 2 bludgeoning damage when this happens. But that does not interfere with your concentration, so you turn into a giant ape.
Yeah. Which happens to have +6 strength.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big monkey.
And is also huge.
Whoa.
Xalia is huge.
But
It is a Xalia core giant monkey, but it is a giant monkey.
Yeah, you,
It's a bit skeletal.
This, Xalia's form, like, kind of, like, warps and almost lashes out as the form of this massive ape takes up a lot of space. And it is a crunched giant ape because it's like you can't lift the ceiling up any further. But sure, yeah, that happens. There's a big ol' ape right here now.
And what I would imagine be like the moment of the ape kind of coming into existence and like pushing up against the ceiling. If there'd be like if there's even the tiniest bit of like reprieve, Makayla would try and cast enhanced ability, Bull's Strength on giant ape. Xalia.
I would also like to point out that I have the giant ape hit points right now, so I have 157 hit points.
Yeah. Target has advantage on strength checks, and their carrying capacity doubles.
Flip a coin. Roll 1d6.
Heads what? Tails what?
Heads you win, tails you lose.
I like those odds.
Heads I win, tails you lose.
That looks like a dragon head to me.
That was a dragon head.
Yeah, you take 6 bludgeoning damage.
Wait, you lied! This isn't winning at all!
As you reach out, trying to slap the giant ape with your touch spell, you get just the grazest of grazes against Xalia as a giant ape and infuse her with this essence before you are you have to return to holding up the weight of the corridor, which has now quickly attuned itself to the experiences and weight and strengths of a giant ape, and all of you have much more weight to combat.
Whatever you do, better make it
With
quick.
the Sean, I guess. Oh, that's all I got. We're restrained, so we can't like even shuffle at all, right?
Unless unless you stop holding up the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, I tried.
It does succeed though. So yeah, you have ape with the strength of a bull.
Monkey.
Bull's blessing.
Yeah. You feel the blessing of Aight wash over you, Xalia, as a giant ape.
I mean, she's a monkey. Like, what? How is she holding? Is she able to push it up more, or is it just adjusted to being a giant monkey
You
with +9 athletics?
Yeah, your action was to polymorph. You're still adjusting.
Okay.
But I mean, you're a giant monkey. That is true. You are a
You're a giant monkey whose carrying capacity has double.
Does it seem like
Those
the
irons.
you're a
has
giant.
moved?
What did you say? Wait, I'm sorry.
Does it seem like the ceiling has moved at all one way or the other after Xalia transformed?
Make an investigation check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Say, kid, technically we should feel it, right?
Can't imagine why I'd have disadvantage.
Hey, even with disadvantage, nice. It looks like it has slightly shifted. You feel the strain ever so slightly let up for a moment, but there is no telling how quickly the gate, as Portcullis described, will react.
See.
Portcullis is going to use a legendary action to talk trash. You hear this mechanical noise. The scan results are always excellent. The gears in your head turning in panicked desperation to unravel a solution. Worried thoughts racing through your head as the sinews in your meat rip and pop.
Pastiche, do me a favor and kill that guy.
On Pastiche's turn, they're going to lean over to Portcullis and whisper,
So, is this some kind of riddle, or are you just going to kill my friends?
Make a persuasion check.
okay. Oh, I have Mitch selected.
Okay. The tiny mechanical dragon responds to you and answers your question. He says, "This is not a riddle. You have already passed. You may exit through the door, Sune. I will accompany you soon."
On hearing that, Pastiche is going to draw a small portal on the ground and let's see, attempt to pull Makayla through it.
Okay. Let's see.
I'm in.
I mean, I guess you can willingly fail it. You see, you see Pastiche illuminated by 2 torches. Draw an inky portal, and there is something beneath your feet. Oh no! Yet another trap of the corridor.
Makayla, look out!
I would recognize Pastiche's magic, so I'd imagine. Yeah, I guess I choose to fail it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
I hope it works how if it works how this guy's saying it's working, and shouldn't instantly crush everybody. So,
Okay. Where does Makayla go, and how does she go? Pastiche?
Right over here.
Okay.
She'll just
I'm 90 feet of you.
no, but you're within 120.
Oh. Okay.
I upcasted it.
Yeah.
I see. It doesn't. I see. Yeah.
An upcast, a vortex form? Very nice.
Dang.
Cool.
That's skills. Let's see, Makayla, you are plopped out of an inky portal next to Pastiche, Portcullis, and something that does not start with the letter P. A torch. In a letter. Oh, and the door too, of course. The exit door.
Oh.
Is there any change with
Can I?
Makayla gone?
There is.
I see.
All of you immediately take 1 bludgeoning damage. Except for the giant ape, who takes 0.
Nice.
I have to. I mean, for how long Makayla's lived, I feel like the weight of her life would really be the majority of the weight of that ceiling. So
You're right.
actually,
they
she
take
get later.
additional bludgeoning damage.
But she's not there.
You
We
take
saw-
3
we
bludgeoning
saw-
damage, the rest of the group in the hallway, except for the giant ape who takes 1.
Wait,
We
so
saw-
that's 8, 2?
Okay.
3 total, except for the ape who takes 1.
Okay.
We
Is
saw.
that it's at 156.
Oh no!
We saw the portcullis hit this lever when they started this, right?
You did.
Yeah, Makayla's gonna as she bombs off of it, try and hit that lever back.
Okay. Portcullis sees you going for it, and he warns you. I warn you, by grabbing that lever, your potential will be tried to the highest degree. Besides, there is no need for it. You're at the end of the hallway, you can pass. Only those worthy are allowed to pass, and you two have proven yourselves. Come.
Will this
just
lever
go
lift
inside the pyramid.
the ceiling?
No.
Oh,
No, definitely telling the truth.
did I just fall asleep?
What?
What happened?
You okay?
I saw a plus asleep on my token.
Oh,
Honk shield.
That's not right.
Twig, you feel like the weight of the world exhausted, like kind of creeping in and giving you some weariness. Feeling a little, yeah. The two of you are feeling a little tired. This ceiling is pretty hefty. It is
tired.
It is an entire pyramid coming down on you. You have a stack of weariness.
Oh.
The two of you, the giant ape does not. The giant ape is buffed.
The giant ape.
How many more can you teleport out, Pastiche?
well. 2.
Well, that's
Alright, giant ape.
not good enough. Well, I mean, it's still like the same turn as. There hasn't been a new turn, has it?
Not yet. Not everyone's gone.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I already used my action, so I can't do anything else, right? Unless I were to hit the switch, which is item interaction.
What was your action?
Enhanced ability,
That was last turn.
right? Oh, it's been a whole new turn since.
Oh.
That was.
Oh. I thought it was still that turn. Oh, okay.
Round 2.
Then I'm gonna just.
Yeah, we're on round 3. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, well. Okay.
Yeah, what do you think I'm gonna do?
I'm gonna attack the shit out of Portillo's, I'll be honest.
Okay.
I think you should warp the giant ape to Portcullis so it can just instantly crush its head.
So you're. So you're not going for lever anymore. You're just gonna destroy portcullis.
I mean, I could always do that after.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, on the ground.
Sure, make an attack roll.
Sorry. Okay. Attack. That is a 19 to hit.
19 hits.
Destroy him, please.
No, that's a 9. That's not gonna hit.
19 still hits.
Yeah.
Oh,
and, let's just see what that damage is.
9's enough to do it.
Nice.
He has 5 HP.
Good. Yeah, I just like swing my staff. Like when it says like no to me, I just swing my staff at it and just it flies into the wall.
Yeah.
It smashes.
As you, as he says no and just like goes back to addressing the rest of the hallway, the corridor, you bring your Aid's Blessing quarterstaff and just golf swing into him. As he's talking to the three in the corridor, he's just like, what will happen to her when she finds out? Who do I know the least about? I'll leave them just like I left everyone else. Should it be me? And then, like in the middle of its next quip, you just go wham! Splat! Metal goes everywhere. Springing. There's like all sorts of broken toy noises. And he is splattered into a million bolts, springs, and other various gears, cogs. He's donezo.
Sorry, I just had enough of that thing. And this is the only lever here, right? There's nothing else
There,
in there.
you take a quick look around. There are two torches, one on each side of the kind of like little alcove that you're in. On the ground is a golden design. There's the door. The door has also like an intricate artistic design, and there is one lever to the right. Or to like the way you're facing, because you're facing back into the back into the hallway. It is to your right. So here, let me just.
That's fine. North of the token. Would look back to Pastiche. We don't trust what that thing said, right?
Well, I can't see any reason to, but
Pastiche is going to approach the door and try to peek through.
Okay. The door is it's got some artistic design upon it. It's very well done. Like even like you're an artist, Pastiche, and like this is respectful. In the center is a knight raising high a blade, radiating any energy. Behind him are several figures, small and large. One of them is a behemoth of a man, a flightless dragon that bears webby sails instead of wings. There's a lanky salamander creature with a bow twice its size, and a kind of like a hooded enigma with one hand obscuring its face with a mask and the other flashing a knife. And they're flanked by widespread wings. It's kind of like it's a golden door, yeah. It's not really something you can peek through, but it's like a door you push open, and like it opens in the middle.
Can I push it open slightly?
You can. You push the door open slightly, and you don't have dark vision. It's darkness.
You just hear down the corridor. Any time now.
That's
Can I
not my
make
action,
a-
right?
Big monkey push.
Sure.
Love big monkey. push.
Athletics advantage. So that's and it's plus 29 because monkey. So I'm gonna roll this twice.
Yeah.
Ooh. 28.
Oh my
Cool.
goodness.
Just
You
to push
can-
it up.
A 28's pretty stout. Using the power of the blessing that Makayla has inflicted upon you, and your monkey form has a bit of arcane system into you. And you use this and leverage this, and letting out just a huge bellowing monkey roar. You heft up part of the ceiling for a few seconds before the ceiling kind of like you hear the clicks, clacks, and whirs before it kind of like bears back down upon you. Since we're doing group initiative, everyone can move up to their speed except you. You're difficult terrain.
Okay. What is giant monkey speed? Giant monkey speed is 40 feet, so I get to move 10 to 20 feet.
Nice.
We're still technically all holding the wall. The three of us
No.
are.
For just a few seconds, Xalia as a giant monkey, like giant is an understatement. Like it's as big as the dragon that you saw outside. This monkey is hefting up. So like for a few seconds, you and Twig are not holding this up.
Does it look like Xalia is moving along with us?
Shuffling.
Shuffling
Yeah,
along.
she's a bit slower, but fucking run.
Okay.
She won't be able to communicate that, but
Yeah.
you'll hear monkey grunts like staring dead ahead.
Uh-huh.
She's got like her monkey arms kind of like flat up against the ceiling and positioning her back and her shoulder blades up against the ceiling in such a manner that she's kind of like square up against it and just shuffling forward. He just grunts of exertion and like kind of looks in your direction.
I guess those few seconds to me is gonna take a dash then. And that's a bonus. So Chuman's gonna, while running, do expeditious retreat.
Hey, nice.
Nice.
You you kind of like give the ring that you got from Alzir or Ryan way back in Baskar. Just a quick little flick, and you feel a little bit lighter. Like the weariness in your legs goes away, and you feel a little bit lighter on your feet suddenly.
I have to wait till the next turn to technically do 2 dashes, correct?
You can dash as a bonus action when you cast Expeditious Retreat.
Yeah.
Oh, it adds it. Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
So like on the turn that you cast it, it also lets you do a dash. But a dash is only 30 feet because
Right.
that's your speed.
Cool. So I already took 60.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
So we have our movement and our action and bonus action, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You have your full turns.
Okay, Twig's out of there.
It's group initiative, baby.
Okay.
Twig is just barreling out of the corridor. And he's like panting. Pastiche, do you have any more of those teleports? And he'll turn and look back for Xalia and Chuman.
Now that you've gotten so close, I believe I can take care of the rest of you.
Twig will also light a lantern if they need light.
Oh yeah, I can't see Xalia anymore.
There's nothing illuminating.
Actually, it probably would have made sense for the torch to be dropped back there, considering how would Makayla hold up wall and torch.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Let me turn
yeah,
off.
just hold all 3 somehow.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Let's see. Makayla was right here.
Like, yeah, right there.
Yeah. No, you were technically in front because you were next to Twig before he moved.
I was. I mean, I was in front of the wall.
In front of the wall, yeah.
The
Oh, okay, I didn't
Mine.
know if I moved before.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Alright.
That's enough to illuminate the That's enough to illuminate Monkey.
Big monk.
Well. Oh. Hit. Because like after the end of like this turn, effectively they're gonna become. It's gonna fall back onto Twig and Chuman, right?
You're not super sure. That monkey's doing work right now.
I mean, Twig is like almost out.
How far does it reach?
Does what reach?
The
Sorry?
ceiling?
The ceiling that's falling down, like the section. Oh, okay, I see. Not escaped yet.
Quick decisions.
Yeah.
Twig, you said you could light a torch?
Pastiche yelled.
I can't quite see Chuman, but if he's near you, a light torch would help.
That would be an item interaction, right? Using my hands, I assume.
Yes.
Alright. Very well. Twig will, like, try to keep holding up the ceiling with his legs and back as he quickly lights the torch on his belt.
Okay.
Oh, one sec, I gotta... There we go. I placed it over there.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I should be on Twig. Thank you.
Hooded lanterns are big. 60 feet of effective light.
Peering down the hallway, noting that Makayla's torch still illuminates Xalia. Pastiche is quickly going to get Chuman out of there. Where'd my spells go? There they are.
Come on, Chuman.
Pretty sure Chuman is gonna fail because he's already just in mid dash, so he's not technically even thinking about it.
Chuman trips into a bunch of ink. It's like the ground beneath you gives way, Chuman, as you stumble over some bones, and then like it disappears. It falls away into black paint, and you splash, expecting to be covered in whatever kind of muck this is. But you're very clean, and you pop out, boop 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 boop, you kind of jump out of a portal. Next, behind Makayla, and you are looking at the place you once were.
I think Chuman's actually still, because he's still falling through the portal, so he actually almost like tumbles into the wall when he comes out.
Alright, cool. Is that everybody?
I'll flip the switch.
Okay.
Have I had my action for this turn, or was this the same, the lifty turn?
This is
I think this
the
is-
lifty turn.
Yeah, this is still a big
Okay.
lift to me.
Okay.
You hit the switch.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It would be funny if it did nothing, but no. Let's see here. So you go and flip the switch, and when you grasp the switch, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
Oh. That's a check. Disadvantage 2.
Okay. As you pull the switch, a massive surge of electricity courses through you as you touch this switch that is all metal, and because of the difference in potentials between the switch and your ungrounded self, you
Oh
electrocute.
boy.
And you take 20 lightning
boy.
damage.
Howie!
Okay.
Oh, that could have been a lot worse.
It could have been. Could have been 21 lightning damage.
Could have been.
We couldn't have dealt with 21 lightning damage, let's be honest.
Yeah, it would have gone down. I have 1 HP.
Lightning courses through your body, just like zumming all of your nerves, and you are like still holding onto it. You clench it tight with it, like just
Fuck.
with a death grip, yelling out, screaming in pain, involuntarily. Yeah.
This thing goes away. Have to save.
You
neat.
still give me a charisma check.
Okay.
Is Makayla now locked onto the lever?
Yeah.
Okay.
So give me a charisma check. Okay.
19.
Hey, you know what? You pulled the lever though.
Cool.
Charisma is the force of will that you exert on the world, and yeah, you still manage to slam the lever back up. And would you like to would you like to let go of the lever?
I mean, am I even able to? If it's like shocking the hell out of me. I mean, yeah, I would. If it, as soon as I get it into its other position, I would try and like kind of push myself off of it onto the wall, just kind of collapse.
Because your charisma check was so good, yeah, you managed to exert your will enough and push yourself off and stumble back and lay down on your back, kind of like surging and vibrating. Some smoke is rising from your body, even though that doesn't actually happen, I don't think.
It's above, sorry. Burnt clean through.
Makayla looks real bad. Makayla looks like she just got electrocuted, yeah. Let's see. Congratulations, though. You hit the lever, and the giant monkey and the non-giant Kenku slowly feel the weight of the world, the weight of their souls let off, and the ceiling slowly decompresses. You hear some locks click as you hear that. You're still like you're still pressing against the ceiling with all your might, trying to keep it from falling on you. Which brings us back around to the party again. There's no portcullis to interrupt you, so. What would you like to do?
Monkey dash.
Monkey dash?
Monkey dash.
Give me a monkey dash.
Monkey dash.
I need to emphasize this is a Xalia monkey. It has a skull face and is drooling slime, but
you see the skull face like bleached. No flesh on it.
No, there's flesh, just not on the face.
Skeletal monkey, just barreling through the corridor. Make me a strength check. Actually, sorry, make me an athletics check. But yeah.
Do you have advantage? Yep, still.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Unless monkeys get that naturally.
Okay.
I don't know.
That was a funny sentence.
Still a 15.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Cool. Monkeys can do whatever they want.
Ook.
Definitely the best polymorph.
Is the ceiling still like actively pushing down, or is it just like has it just slowed, or?
Slide me a wisdom.
Wisdom.
Nineteen's pretty good. Yeah, as you're hoisting yourself and using every muscle, just everything just burning on all cylinders to hold the weight of the ceiling. There's a moment where you breathe in and your body slightly relaxes, and then you tense up, waiting for the ceiling to like cave back down on you again, but it never happens.
Twig will like slowly, experimentally like release his like pushing up against the ceiling,
and the ceiling does not descend, clamber back down on you. Twig, as you relax, every fiber and sinew in your body is screaming. All of you, anyway. Well, except for Pastiche. Pastiche, you are Pastiche, you're feeling pretty good. You're nice and calm.
Yeah.
But the rest of you, every sinew just screaming in pain and exertion. You have no ceiling to worry about.
Xalia makes monkey noises of ah.
Twig will reciprocate. Also make some monkey noises back.
So the lever did work.
Pastiche will say before turning to Makayla.
It was just like on the ground, looking up right now, like just arms spread, laying down, eyes kind of like dilate from shock.
Are you all right, Makayla? You did it.
Am I alright? I have been better. Did it stop?
It seems so. Twig is here now, and well, Xalia is still making her way.
That's good. I'll just lay here for a little bit, though. Just a moment. Catch my breath.
You look like... Well, no, that would be rude. If I can help you at all, please, let me know.
I'm just gonna cast. Unless we'd be willing to try and do a short rest anytime soon. Which, I don't know. Still pretty early on. I would use Healing Spirit, but if we try and take a short rest, I'd rather just do that. Short rest. For me. Just catch our breaths.
Well,
Really,
it's a bit cramped here, but I see no reason to rush.
Xalia is going to be a giant monkey, eating up most of his face.
It's definitely.
She's
the
gonna
reason-
gurgle,
Yeah.
and green fluids will flow over her flank jaw.
Definitely the reason Pastiche commented that it was cramped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Twig
So-
is busy, like, ineffectively stomping on the remains of portcullis. Like, burdensome, isn't it? And he, like, kicks the pieces away. And he turns. Sorry, what did you ask, Makayla?
Kayla is still lying on the floor looking up at the ceiling. If we could just spend a little bit to regain ourselves.
After Chuman finally gets some feeling back in his hands, leaves Makayla on the next to him. You've been through way more than I have.
Awesome.
Maybe a rest would be wise.
That's pretty narrative. That 300.
Thank you. To like help, like she can at least like sit up now, like. But,
I guess the numbness is not left away yet. Apologies.
Please, the monkey moving.
There it is.
No need to apologize. She sits up. Her hair is just, fully standing on end. From the electricity and current of the monkey spitting again. Fuck. Yeah. And I'd like to initiate a short rest, DM.
I'm fine with that.
It may. Excel.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I said, yeah, sure, cool.
Okay.
Can't wait to rest with no consequences whatsoever.
I mean, either this
Alright,
or
I will-
instantly die in any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need healing too. One, two. Oh damn! I'll do 2 more.
As you roll.
Jesus, stop rolling, Max.
Keep rolling, Max.
Dang. If it was up to you guys, you would simply roll max HP on your hit dice.
Yeah, she's done.
That's a good rest.
One more for the road. Alright.
That's a good last one.
There we go. Perfect.
As you all collect yourselves, catch your breath, test your limbs, and return some feeling into your body, and set it back to normal mode instead of excruciating pain. Let's see. The rest kind of goes kind of without incident. Like the torches just burn. There's a slight little like fire crackling noise. It's calming. Just it snaps, crackles. The door, very ever so slightly pushed open. Just eventually swings back closed. It makes no noise when it does so. As you all sit upon the golden etched design on the ground. You can make out a couple of the gold lines and intricate details of the floor. And at the very end of the rest, you hear some shuffling. Footsteps echoing through the hallway that you just traversed. As you're recuperating and like drinking from your water skins and eating the food that you brought, it turns into mold, rots away in your hand, turns into dust. The water skins that you brought filled with water, the delicious, life-giving liquid evaporates away.
Well, time to go.
If anyone is maybe less conductive to electricity, could maybe hit that lever again and block our way out of here. Or has the ceiling, has it lifted, or has it just stayed kind of low to where it was? Okay.
Twig will try to lower the lever with his mage hand.
Will you put mage hand in the chat for me to look at?
1 second.
Let's see. What happens when a mage hand takes damage?
Oh no.
Asking the real questions here.
It cannot take damage. It doesn't have AC or HP. Okay, so you're doing what with the mage hand?
Trying to move the lever back to its original position before Makayla moved it.
Okay, so that would be down.
Yes.
Okay. The mage hand is actually unable to. You're not sure why, but you tried to express your grip on this arcane hand that you cannot see, that nobody can see. You try to telekinetically push the lever down, but it does not. You cannot exert a controlling influence on this lever with your spell. You're not sure why.
Might be too heavy.
mean, I'd see you like cast the spell. Think, good idea. But also throw it
Okay.
in case it is too heavy. This one, I mean, mine you can see because it's like spectral vulture.
Yeah, a spectral vulture flies into view and
also tries to like push it down.
Lands on the lever. It roosts upon the handle, but despite its efforts to push the lever down, it does not.
Okay. We have the move then.
I mean, can Xalia monkey wrench the lever?
There's enough space to stick your arm over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Just around everyone else.
After some shuffling,
Big monkey coming through.
after some shuffling, I need a Constitution saving throw from you with disadvantage.
Monkey Constitution is +4, so 2d20, lowest one +4. That's going to be a 6.
Take 23
Owie!
lightning damage.
Monkey is at 133.
You do successfully pull the lever down. It appears it needs to be able to form a current. And yeah, you push the lever down. You hear the twisting of gears, clicking, clacking. There's rumbling. The ceiling. The ceiling does not close off the tunnel, but you can see it kind of like shift a bit.
Like shift downwards slightly. I fear that might have only bought us some time.
Well, I think we should use that time, Pastiche says as they start pushing the door open.
Okay, so this door. The door smoothly opens. Its hinges are well oiled. And before you lies a flight of stairs ascending into darkness, into the uncertainty of the future, Pastiche. A future you willingly face with your companions. Friends you've forged from the fires of your recent journey and saved from certain death.
As Pastiche is opening the door, Mitch is going to fly over their shoulder and go through.
Okay. Mitch flies up. Boop, 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 boop. The sandy steps guide Mitch through a claustrophobic stairway. The ceiling is, ascending this is like the ceiling with thread to scrape your head against it with each rise. It's very tight. Let's see. It's a lot of steps. The dimensions of this pyramid are called into question how far Mitch flies, and he flies out of your range where you can't communicate with him telepathically.
Cool. Okay.
There's a few moments, then let's see. Well, what would be the command you gave Mitch? Just fly.
Just fly. Just go.
All right, Mitch doesn't return.
Okay. Pastiche is going to follow shortly after then.
Okay.
Behind.
As you all, you push open this door, bisecting the relief of another party of adventurers, perhaps. And you ascend this stairway. It is dark. So only the dark vision people can see. Whereas you were tripping over stairs.
Just want to add in.
We have the lantern, right?
The lantern was left, I thought.
It was left.
The torch was left, but I would still have the lantern.
Oh, because it's on your belt?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind. Twig's lantern illuminates the way. So that's good. Fantastic. So as you are climbing up, Twig's lantern brightens the view. Indeed, it's a claustrophobic stairway. The ceiling just gives only a few inches of clearance. Climbing these steps gives your legs a workout. Already had a workout. Enjoy a stack of weariness.
Hey, it's a lower body workout now.
Except for Xalia.
Sorry,
monkey.
what is awareness?
One stack
Monkey
of weariness.
mode.
It is a minus. It's basically exhaustion, but it's a -1 to all your D20 rolls.
Oh.
This is a long stairway, and after just coming through that ordeal, I mean, this is tough on your body.
Oh yeah, you said that they regenerate after short rest, correct?
Yeah, so you all currently have 0, or had 0 going into these stairs, so
And at 1.
you're at 1, except for Xalia as a giant ape.
How many would a short rest remove?
1.
1.
I would be at
How long
2
does
right now.
polymorph last?
Polymorph
Polymorph lasts an hour, yeah, so it probably wears off around now. She's no longer a giant ape.
Okay.
Hey, monkey Xalia is gone.
You do escape this stack of weirdness, though, Xalia,
Okay.
because
It
giant ape.
yeah.
Giant ape.
It doesn't. She doesn't like as much. Like it doesn't like vanish as much. Just kind of shrink back to normal Xalia size. She's still got the skull face and the dripping green fluid, and like the fur.
All right. So as we ascend, let's see here. Climbing these steps. Yeah, climb, climb, climb. It seems to be going without incident. Huzzah!
Alright.
Is there anything that you want to do as you ascend?
I mean, there's nothing. Is there anything on like the walls or?
Yeah, is there anything visually
Any
different as we going up?
There's a difference in color. The area here is no longer this like obsidian color. It is immediately more of a sandy color, giving you like the sense of sand, like sandstone. More of what you've seen from outside with the crimson, like dull orange, like red orange rocks outside. The color of the sun, that kind of stuff. There are no reliefs, but the stone is smooth and constructed. The steps that you're going up are sharp. They're not like rough at all. They even seem like someone has bothered to maintain them. Could be portcullis, who knows? Portcullis is not here anymore. Get out of here. Yeah, that's what you see. Oh, give me a perception check though.
Okay.
This is from both of us.
24.
Okay, 24 is good. 19 is
19.
good.
All of us. Shit.
Yeah, so like I would say Makayla, Chuman, and Xalia, you see and you can point out to the rest that the steps all have designs on them. Just one design, and it is always of a very large. Sorry, not always. I meant to use the word alternating. It alternates between a bird-like design with outstretched wings and like fire going everywhere, and some kind of like blazing sword or blade or weapon, sword-like. Is wreathed in spiraling fire, and alternates between those with each step.
Well, you said it doesn't look like there is any end to the stairs.
It's long stairway. You're gonna have to backwards long jump up here. As you crest the final step, though, the very last step has a different design. It is instead a skull. And you are greeted with a dim glow in a square room. The room is littered with skeletons and gold coins on the ground. The walls are unadorned. However, the centerpiece of this room is a large orb as wide as a raptor. As you enter the room properly, the orb also appears to be of the marrow persuasion. It's curiously composed of compressed bones. There are 2 exits. One to the north, it's a large double door, and a small door to the west. It looks like there used to be an east exit, but contrary to the rest of the well-sculpted and well-maintained design, it looks like it was once operable, but it's now ruined with a cave-in.
Well, I do not like this room.
I don't think anything in this pyramid is worth enjoying right now.
Guess. Would I be able to do like I don't know, any sort of
What do you want to do?
Arcana, something of like Arcana check? Yeah.
What do you
If
want
there's
to
any.
do?
I'm looking at the big orb with bones around it.
Thank you.
And it's
yeah,
looking sus.
Yeah, you can go up to the orb. This orb of bones. This suspicious bone orb. Yeah, you can roll either Arcana, Investigation, or Religion.
It's all are bad for me. Alright, flavor wise, I guess it would make the most sense. Investigate. I rolled a 2.
Nice.
Oh.
Huh?
Nothing, just investigate from a distance.
Alright, yeah, so you reach the top of you reach the landing, and then you kind of like peek in and around the room. It's kind of like cradling a hand over the corner that leads into the room, the door you're in. And you don't see any danger, and then your eyes lay onto the orb in the center. It is suspicious, as you suspected. That's a lot of bones. They are they're astonishingly they are of it's a nice spherical shape. Like there's nothing poking out or anything. You notice it is slightly there's this glow about it. You're not sure if it is the orb itself that is glowing or if there's an essence glowing about it. But there's just some kind of mirage-like waviness to it as you peer from your current standpoint with your 3 of investigation. You see the bones
enough.
and gold coins around.
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm the details of the room?
Well, I tried.
Pastiche, are you reunited with Mitch?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe he could take a look around. It'd be better odds than us of getting flanked again.
Well, our last trial required portcullis to activate it. Perhaps we can simply pass through.
Perhaps.
I hope it is as easy as you claim.
Trying to sort of hug the wall. Get that orb a wide berth as possible.
Okay.
Pastiche is
Xalia's shoving her face into the goddamn orb.
Okay. Tastes like cinnamon toast crunch.
Oh shit,
Whoa.
hell yeah. She'll chomp. She'll chomp.
Give me
I'm not joking.
Give
She's
me-
taking a bite.
it does smell like spice. And but give me an Arcana, investigation, or religion. Xalia.
Yeah, I hit the button. I don't know if it's going through. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 10.
Okay.
Cursed orb.
You place the spices cinnamon. There's a lot of it, or there was a lot of it back at your house. So like just a constant smell that lingered on your nose.
Yeah.
There's this kind of strange magic kind of swirling around it. There's something magical about this thing. With a 10, you're not quite able to place it, but you can confirm that there is something going on with this thing. It does something.
All right, and I will commit. She takes a bite.
Okay. You all watch as Xalia tries to eat this orange glowing orb made out of bones. Xalia, it's crunchy.
Nice.
I imagine it's like a snake unhinging its jaw to eat like a really big rat or something.
Yeah, like you take a chomp out of it. It's difficult, but you manage to like chip off like a little bit of like somebody's of like somebody's cheek or something, and yeah, it's cinnamon toast bones.
Nice.
I'm not sure if Changeling like are what's the word? Aficionados? No. It's like
I imagine you could probably gourmets.
yeah.
I imagine she can probably edit her taste buds to some degree.
Yeah. So like you chomp and like you get some of the marrow in it, and that's where the good stuff is. That's Changeling canon now. They can eat bones.
Osteovores.
Yeah, you guys watch Xalia do this. Like she just runs in.
Okay. Are you feeling anything, Xalia?
Is she feeling anything?
No.
She'll shake her head, and then I'm gonna roll a wisdom save.
Okay.
I'm gonna give herself disadvantage just because she's got a plus to wisdom save, and that's boring. Yeah, okay, she's gonna take another bite.
You go to take another bite out of this orb, and Xalia is Xalia.
Yeah.
What a character. You find that where you go to take another chomp, there is already a piece missing. You didn't do that. There appears to be like either a hole or a recess in this spherical bone mass.
He's gonna investigate the hole.
Okay. It's a hole.
Is there anything in the hole?
It is. Yeah, take a peek. Investigation.
Okay.
There is nothing in the hole. Aptly.
He's gonna hiss.
sorry, not sorry. That was funny. Yeah, you look around. It looks like it has. It looks like there's a shape to it. Like it's not just like a round hole missing. But even though your mind works in mysterious ways, you're not able to place the shape.
Okay.
Not able to like blueprint out. But it's not a round hole, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. She's gonna like make a noise and try to point out other people at the hole. She's like Makayla. She'll tap Makayla, like extend out an arm to tap Makayla on the shoulder, and then drag her hand towards the hole.
Twig is like peering over Xalia's shoulder with morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, I'd look into it, but no. If I don't see anything, I don't see anything. I mean, I don't know what site. It's just a sort of a vacant space, right?
Yeah, it is a space. There's just it proves the sphere is all bones. There's nothing like that. There's nothing that's forming our core or anything. It's just all bones. Bones everywhere. It's pretty morbid. And I mean, there's bones everywhere here, and like gold coins. There's nothing that really. Yeah, like there's a hole. Working together and noticing that this is the fact, or like is the case, you notice that there are several holes all around this sphere of bones.
Okay. Are they the bones on the floor that would be like the missing pieces to this sphere?
That thought crosses your mind.
I mean, I'd look and try and see if any bones on the floor would fit perfectly in those holes. If not, then Kayla would just kind of shrug.
Okay. You pick up a bone.
And
just like some kind of leg bone or something. And yeah, just kind of like jam it in. It looks like you might not have picked up the right one, but then you pick up a different one. And then like, yeah, sure. It goes in, just
I mean,
there's some jostling, and then you just manage to get it kind of wedge in. And yeah, it goes in, like there was some resistance at first, but it goes in smoothly, and then there's like some kind of swirly dust of gold energy that kind of like out as it goes in, and it slides in perfectly. You just fill the hole.
Okay.
You notice
Does anything
some
happen?
movement amongst the bones as you look for your next target, though.
I wouldn't say I'd be doing all of it. We haven't even tried opening the doors, so I would just. But what moves? I guess.
Let's see.
What is moving? I'm looking.
Ribcage moves.
I would just bring my staff down and hit it.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Don't even give it the time of day. Sorry. A 19.
A 19 hits. Go and roll
Just
damage.
to see the movement instantly react and smack whatever is moving.
Yeah, just wham. Roll damage, if you please.
Oh, okay. An 8.
An 8 will do it. As you
Do what exactly?
Like, you see this happen, like you see this kind of like wiggle in the corner of your eye, and you bring your staff down upon it, wham, just instantly. You're tired of it. Just and you blast apart this ribcage, and under your staff you find a gold coin that has wings, and it is dead. You have defeated a horde scarab that has taken up residence in a ribcage.
Huh.
These things again.
There is more movement as a skull moves and a couple gold coins begin to move.
Of course.
Go ahead and roll initiative.
As always.
Always the fucking horde scarabs. Oh, dear.
Go ahead, Xalia. You're first.
Dang.
Your lunch is getting away.
What would she do?
The-
No, I know exactly what she would do. She's gonna run over and just whip out Soot Whisper on this one.
Okay.
Just pull, like, it's just gonna basically appear in her hand and just slam it to the ground.
Alright, yeah. 16 hits. Let's see. Roll 1d4.
Okay.
And then 44.
Okay. Alright.
This horde scarab is obliterated. As you stab into this horde scarab that is previously looked just like a gold coin with its wings folded, it like flutters around and it begins to take off, and then you just stab it through the center, and then like you just kind of have a gold coin looking creature on the tip of Soot Whisper, and yeah, you utterly obliterate it. Roll me wisdom.
Hold on. Do wisdom save or just a check?
A save, please.
Nice.
You hear in your head, I have a feeling we're not in Khorzaire anymore.
So Whisper Gaming.
The sword scarab goes and bites Makayla.
Yeah?
Does a 10 hit you?
No.
Let's go to Trickster. Twig, a skull is moving around, and you can see like some wings sprout out from the eye sockets, and it's heading right towards you.
I think Twig's gonna give it a poke in one of those eye sockets.
Okay. Oh, you critically hit.
Oh, Jesus.
With your newly
It's my first swing with it.
with your newly diamond coated and sharpened Jambia. Yeah, go ahead. You critically hit. You destroy this thing.
Scarab.
I'm pretty sure
sorry.
that no matter what you roll, it's effing dead. But go ahead and roll a stage.
Yeah, I want to roll it anyway.
Congratulations on your critical hit.
Let's go see it.
Yeah, that's a total of 33 damage.
Yes.
You tell me what happens. That's... I don't know. that's not
skull-
within my power.
The skull like sprouts wings and starts like shaking around, and Twig just takes like the hilt of his Jambia and like crushes the skull into dust. The scarab is nowhere to be found.
Alright. I'm pretty sure with the four of you next going, you guys can defeat a simple gold coin that is flying. So tell me what happens with this dude. You don't even have to roll, just you win, but tell me what happens.
I mean, if you let Xalia get to it.
It's too far from Chuman. Chuman was just gonna battle axe it if he was close.
I mean, Pastiche's plan was to just grab it out of the air and zap it.
Bug zap.
Okay. With the efficiency of a bug zapper. Makayla, you have a flashback to what happened when you touched the lever. As Pastiche just there's a quick little zap, and the horde scarab is no more.
I suppose that's that. Time for the doors.
After you, Makayla.
Fine. It's locked. Xalia, what about you? It's also locked.
Do either of them look like they have any sort of keyhole or locking mechanism on it?
Roll me perception to learn where the keyhole is.
17.
Okay, 17 is pretty good. The keyhole is nowhere to be found. They don't budge, so they appear to be not regular doors. They either slide open from some direction, or they push, or they pull. But there's no handle, and there's no keyhole. They're slabs of stone, slabs of stone barring your path. The one to the north, it does look like a slide. There's a seam where the door isn't quite flush with itself, but you try them, they don't budge, they resist your effort. They are locked, apparently, for want of a better word.
Well,
around you are gold coins littering the floor. Some of them may be horde scarabs, and bones littering the floor. And in the middle is a faintly glowing sphere made out of bones with some holes in it.
well, I suppose we could keep working on this macabre jigsaw just to set the orb.
The bone sphere.
Unless we might do something, but could also just any way to force these doors open, perhaps. Well, all right.
Twig will give this one a kick.
Okay. Make a strength check. We'll use it as your attack roll. That's pretty good. You give it a stout kick. Just hi-ya! It seems kind of solid, actually. You don't feel any give, but surely no door can withstand the strength of Twig.
True.
I mean, is there anything on the walls or like near the doors or anything?
No, this is a pretty plain room, unfortunately.
Well, okay, then we'll get back to putting together this orb of bone.
Alright.
So we can just-
Yeah, roll me investigation or survival. One of those two. Whichever your favorite is.
Survival. I mean, survival's better.
Alright, a 13.
13.
Cool. You, as your party members look around, and Twig sets to, kicking the door into the to the west.
Mhm.
Makayla, you kind of like readjust your clothing after fighting off the horde scarabs, and you look around. You nod to yourself, and then you start working on this sphere jigsaw puzzle. And then it takes you about 5 minutes to complete it because of your survival roll. You manage to pick up the bones off, and you find out which one goes where. The head neck bone's connected to the shoulder bone, collarbone, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And when you slot the last piece in and fill all of the gaps in the sphere that you can tell, there's another kind of like wisp of energy in the sphere in the middle, kind of like gives off a brighter glow and just whoosh. And the both doors to the west and to the north slowly slide open. Right as Twig kicks it, Twig, you must have done something. You clever devil, you.
I knew I'd get it eventually.
Yeah. And they slowly slide open. To the west is a room whose 3 corners are occupied by statues of a large man. The man is chiseled and also sculpted in a manner that seems both decadent and reverent. In one, he holds a book, and another, a spyglass towards the sky, and the other appears to be in a grappling stance. Along the walls in this area are reliefs, similar to the ones in the grand hallway you were in earlier, and benches take up the remaining space. There appear to be objects on top of the benches each. To the north is another macabre sight. As to the north is revealed, the doors slide open, and there are more bones and skeletons littering the hallway. The hallway also has reliefs, but ends in a quizzical sight. There is a glowing archway giving off this warbling blue kind of watery effect as bones litter the ground before it. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Oh, damn.
All
That's a
right.
lot.
Alright. It
Yeah.
is.
I click.